Happy and good afternoon. Welcome to the Investiture ceremony for Judge Dana A. Gutierrez. I am Attorney Danielle Rossetti, and I will be your mistress of ceremony this afternoon. Please rise for the procession of the judicial officers. Remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Judiciary of Guam, law enforcement, and the singing of the national anthem in Guam hymn by Miss Yvonne Paris.
Mark time. March. Flag out. Center. Present. On.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light the proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Nogita moru, purita nota, canta tu nome di todo il lugar. Para y honra, para y gloria, viva y excelsión, para y honra, para y gloria, viva y excelsión, para todo y tiempo y paz, para y
Order, on. Mark time, march. Forward, march.
Please be seated. This time, I'd like to introduce our dignitaries, judicial officers, and honored guests. Our Governor of Guam, the Honorable Lourdes Inaugural, and First Gentleman, Attorney Jeff Cook. Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio. Chief Justice F. Philip Carvalho. Justice Robert J. Torres. Justice Catherine A. Merriman. Presiding Judge Alberto C. Navarone III. Judge Anita A. Sokola. Judge Arthur R. Garcinas. Judge Vernon P. Perez. Judge Maria T. Senzon. Judge Elise M. Uriarte. Magistrate Judge Benjamin C. Cisan. Magistrate Judge Jonathan R. Klein. Family Court Referee and Judge Pro Tem Linda L. Green. From the District Court of Guam, Chief Judge Francis Tadiko Gabriel. Magistrate Judge Michael J. Fidelio. Retired Supreme Court Chief Justice Benjamin Cruz. Retired Superior Court Judge Elizabeth Barrett Anderson. From the Guam Legislature, Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes. Our Oversight Chair, Senator Therese Terlapi. Senator Mary Torres. Senator Eugene Visco-Lee. Senator Jose Pito Terlapi. Senator Sabina Perez. Senator Amanda Shelton. Senator Kelly Marsh Tyson. Senator Will Castro. Senator Luis Munoz. And Senator Jim Lloyd. Also joining us today is Attorney General Leland Camacho, Guam Bar Vice President Attorney Manakshi Hamlani, and our Administrator of the Courts, Christina Baird. I'd also like to introduce our honored guest, Attorney Dana A. Gutierrez, and her husband, David Herchanek. Her parents join us today, Mr. and Mrs. Roland and Annie Gutierrez. We also welcome our Judiciary of Guam employees, our Guam Bar members, and all those watching through our live stream channel. Please stand for the invocation by Father Mike Chrysostom.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. We hear from the Gospel of Luke. Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up. He said, in a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared for what people thought. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with a plea, "Grant me justice against my adversary." For some time he refused, but finally he said to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or care what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice, so that she won't eventually come and attack him. And the Lord said, listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? Lord, today we gather in your holy presence as we witness the investiture of the Honorable Gutierrez as Judge of the Superior Court of Law. Bless her, O Lord, with your spirit of courage and perseverance, of justice and of mercy, of love and forgiveness. Teach her to always live in your word by seeking always the truth in her decisions and to exercise right judgment. But we ask all this through Christ our Lord.
Amen. Please be seated. I now call upon the Honorable F. Philip Carlito, Chief Justice of Guam, to give his welcome remarks.
Good day, everyone. I know we recognize our dignitaries, but please allow me to extend my own personal greetings. Good day, Governor Inaugural, and First Gentleman, Attorney Jeffrey Cook, Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio, Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes, and Senators of the 35th Guam Legislature, Justices and Judges, employees of the Judiciary of Guam, family and friends of Judge-elect Dana Gutierrez, and most especially the parents of Dana, Mr. Roland and Mrs. Annie Gutierrez, and honored guests. It's a little difficult to speak through this mask with the glasses all fogging up, so I will do my best. It is wonderful to see you all face to face, well, almost face to face, and albeit 6 feet apart. Thank you all for being here today. Today we will witness the investiture of our newest judicial officer, a most welcome and worthy addition to our bench. I would like to thank you, Governor Inaugural, for her nomination of Dana and the legislature for confirming her, Madam Speaker. Dana was a member of our court family, serving as Director of Policy, Planning, and Community Relations in 2015 and 2016. She had really big shoes to fill then, as the position was occupied by Mr. Joshua Tenorio, our Lieutenant Governor and today's keynote speaker. And I came to know Dana's work ethic, her discerning mind, and her intelligence during that period of time. I am confident that she will be an excellent coach. Again, she is following the footsteps of a hard act to follow when we lost the highly regarded and respected jurist, Judge Michael J. Gutierrez. Gutierrez, will you stand up and be recognized? Dana will be assuming the bench at a very unusual time, not just in our justice system, but in our island and in the world. Court operations have not been spared from the turmoil caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. During the time the court was closed to all non-emergency business, we remained open for court filings. To give you an idea of the filings we received during the island-wide state of emergency, we accepted and processed nearly 400 criminal filings, nearly 100 juvenile filings, and over 2,000 non-criminal filings. Now that our courts have opened and have resumed more operation, Our branch needs the full complement of trial judges more than ever. The backlog of cases, jury trials, and other court matters put on hold for the past 4 months will create a substantial strain on our trial courts. Under normal conditions, our trial judges have daunting caseloads. Under our present circumstance, the demands on their dockets will grow. So believe me, adding Judge Gutierrez to our trial courts could not come at a more critical time. And thank you, Senator Therese Durrani, our Oversight Chair, for pushing Dana Gutierrez's nomination through the legislative process. Beginning Monday morning, bright and early, I would expect Dana will take over the family court 2 docket in her modest chambers. This means that she will handle juvenile cases, including juvenile drug court, and a whole host of general jurisdiction cases, which include first-degree felonies, criminal misdemeanors, probate, civil litigation, domestic cases, land registrations, and various special proceeding matters. I am confident that Dana is up to the task, and she will have the support and assistance of a highly trained, competent group of judiciary staff to help ensure a smooth transition into this new role she will undertake, which I am sure will be made even easier because she has earned the trust, respect, and confidence of many of the court professionals during her time with the courts. And so, Dana, on behalf of the judiciary, welcome back. You once played a role in helping to promote the many justice services our courts provide to our community. As a judge, you will once again play an active part in putting these services to work for bettering all those who appear before you, especially our troubled youth. Before we move on with the rest of the ceremony, I would like to congratulate you and your family on this most auspicious and well-deserved occasion. The people of Guam will be well served by Judge Dana Gutierrez. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I invite Judge-Select Gutierrez to join Senator Therese Durrani for the presentation of the Certificate of Confirmation.
If I could ask my colleagues to join me, please, Speaker. Our distance, please join me. So, we are here today, of course, to congratulate our new judge, but to present to her a certificate of confirmation that is a symbol of the faith and the trust that we as a legislature of Guam and the people of Guam have that true justice will be served during the term of Judge Dana A. Gutierrez, Superior Court of Guam. Congratulations.
Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Lourdes Inaugural, Governor of Guam, as she gives her remarks.
Thank you very much for the invitation to say a few remarks and to say I'm greatly honored to be here in the presence of all these wonderful people who I have to see their face. And so we are on our way to recovery, so hopefully this won't occur very long. So thank you again for the invitation. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, Chief Justice Phil Carlino, Madam Speaker Tina Munya Barnes, First Gentleman, my husband Jeff Cook, senators, judicial officers, honored guests, and of course, family and friends of Dana. How's the day? When you enter a courtroom, you may be greeted with a statue. This statue is called Lady Justice, and she is a personification of the fair and equal administration of the law, without corruption, favor, greed, or prejudice. Lady Justice is a blindfolded woman carrying a sword and a set of scales. She's blindfolded to represent objectivity and impartiality. That justice should be administered without fear or favor. In one hand, she holds a scale used to weigh evidence presented before her based on its own merit. In the other hand, she holds a sword, a reminder that punishment can be swift, decisive, and final. Lady Justice holds the sword below the scale, symbolizing that evidence should come before punishment. It is easy for us to say this is what justice means, what justice should be. But to prevent these from merely being platitudes, the courts need to embody these ideals. One of the first lessons they teach in social studies is that there are three co-equal branches of government: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Unlike the executive and the legislative branches, which are inherently political in nature, the judicial branch was designed to be as insulated as possible from politics and public pressure. As the framers envisioned, the judiciary must have neither force nor will, but merely judgment. To do this, the judiciary needs to uphold the highest level of integrity in all its actions. Fair and impartial judges fulfill the fundamental promise of our justice system: equal justice under the law. When citizens are heard in the court, they should be able to trust that justice will be determined by the law and the facts of their case, regardless of money, wealth, or power. Just as Lady Justice wears the blindfold, so too must our judges to ensure impartiality of the law and the equal protection of our citizens. From what we see on the news or read in the paper, these ideals are not always the reality. However, society cannot exist without justice, so we must continue to strive to achieve these ideals. It is crucial that judges display fairness, integrity, moral character, and judicial temperament. These are the characteristics that Dana has upheld throughout her career, and I am confident she will continue to do so while holding this very critical office. Dana has over 20 years of experience working in both the private and public sectors, serving as counsel to large local and international companies, as well as Government of Guam agencies and boards. Her expertise in labor and employment law, commercial and transactional law, with a focus on business planning, corporate governance, and regulatory compliance. She serves our island by volunteering her time to the Society for Human Resource Management, the Guam Girl Scouts, and the Guam Young Professionals. She has been an active member of the Guam Bar's Law Works Committee. She is a volunteer member of the Guam Public Library System Board and the Guam Solid Waste Authority Board. Yet equal to her willingness to serve are her other qualities. Dana possesses the ethical grounding, intelligence, education, courage, and integrity to ensure fairness, dispense justice, and be a good judge. I know every decision Dana delivers will be grounded by the law, guided by precedent, and consistent with the principles of the justice system. I am confident that she will do what is necessary and, more importantly, what is right to build a safer, more just community. Congratulations, Dana, and I thank you for continuing to serve our island, and it will be proud for me to address you as your honor.
Thank you, Governor. I am honored to introduce our keynote speaker, Lieutenant Governor and former Administrator of the Courts, and familiar face to our judicial family, Joshua Tenorio.
Governor, Chief Justice, Speaker, members of the legislature, presiding judge, chief judge, all the judicial officers. Thank you so much for giving me this honor, Dana, to be the keynote speaker here at your investiture ceremony today. As you embark in what I expect will be a long career in judicial service to the people of Guam. It has been more than 4.5 months since the pandemic hit our island and changed the course of history. For the courts, an unprecedented closure and the inability to conduct regular court business became a reality. For the first time, the confirmation process for a judicial nominee was in part conducted virtually, and an investiture conducted with social distancing as a mandate and facial coverings. We also lost the first Chief Justice of the modern-day Supreme Court of Guam, Chief Justice Peter C. Seguenza, who was honored this year with the 2020 Justicia Award. This marks the 100th anniversary of the women's right to vote, and the theme for this year's National Lobbying Celebration is Your Vote, Your Voice, Our Democracy, the 19th Amendment at 100. Last year, we reached a historic benchmark in the political development of our island. Our first female governor, a supermajority of females in the Guam legislature, and all 3 branches being led by females. This year, with the investiture of Judge Dana Gutierrez, this history continues, since there is now a female majority of judges in the Superior Court of Guam. The women's suffrage movement was the foundation of the civil and political rights movement of our modern times. In recent years, the movements have taken up the causes of marriage equality, non-discrimination in the workplace, the Me Too movement against sexual harassment, and Black Lives Matter in response to painful examples of police brutality and racial profiling. Some movements culminated in key court decisions: the right to possess firearms, affirmative action, marriage equality, women's reproductive rights, the right to an attorney, school desegregation, and Miranda rights. All are legal guarantees because of court decisions. And through the separation of powers, the hands of justice corrected bad law and ended legal discrimination. Bad court decisions have also resulted in social justice, but through the legislative and political process. Decisions that denied citizenship to African American slaves, enabled separate but equal segregation laws, and facilitated the legal internment of Japanese American citizens are all stains in history and are examples of flaws in this still very imperfect system. And still, unjust decisions remain such as the insular cases decided more than 100 years ago. These cases established a constitutional justification of colonialism by holding that the territories are owned by and not a part of the United States. As a result, the U.S. Congress can discriminately apply or withhold constitutional protections and guarantees to the people living in the unincorporated territories. These insular cases were decided at a time when the U.S. political system was shrouded in racist ideology and the expressed belief that it would be difficult to assimilate the alien races of the territories with the Anglo-Saxon principles. The American judicial system and the American political and legislative process have yet to resolve this injustice. As imperfect as this system of justice is, it is still the best in the world. I mention this because the inspiration for Dana's decision to take up the practice of law has always been an underlying desire to pursue social justice. This is the foundation of her being, to pursue truth, to protect rights, and to ensure the fair and impartial discharge of justice. Looking around at every single judicial officer present today, I can safely say she is not alone in this quest. She is in very good company. The judiciary of Guam aspires to be a high-performing court system. Although far from perfect, it has an active governance structure that is focused on professionalism, integrity, and excellence. It has exercised its leadership among the other justice-related agencies to develop problem-solving courts, reform its criminal and juvenile justice practices, establish time standards for the disposition of all cases, and respond to concerns of the public during a global pandemic and public health crisis. It does all of this while still maintaining its independence from the other branches. This institution remains close to my heart, and I consider my responsibility of giving advice and input to the governor on her judicial appointments and collaboration with the courts as one of the most important roles I have as Lieutenant Governor of Guam. Drawing on my experience as court administrator and as a fellow of the Institute for Court Management, I thought I'd let Dana's family and friends know just exactly what she has gotten herself into. The primary responsibility of the judicial branch is to provide an impartial forum for the resolution of disputes through the rule of law and protection of individual rights. But there's a bit more to this job. The court must ensure access to the court process for all who seek it. It must manage the business of the court in a manner that promotes efficiency, transparency, and the opportunity for fair and timely disposition of the cases filed. It must provide and protect the right to due process and equal protection for all. The court must promote justice and ensure the public perceptions of justice in individual cases. It exists to protect individuals against the arbitrary use of governmental power, to provide for a formal record of legal status, to deter criminal behavior, to rehabilitate individuals convicted of crime, and to provide for the removal and separation of convicted individuals from society when necessary. Courts must be responsive to the community, and in recent years, the courts have played a leading role in protecting vulnerable populations, such as abused and neglected children and adults. In embracing the effective therapeutic court models, the court has been effective in coordinating with justice, public health, social service, mental health, education, and other agencies to address the underlying causes of the court's criminal and civil caseload, including substance abuse. I just want to recognize the justices, but especially Presiding Judge Lamorena, former retired Judge Liz Barrett-Anderson, and the other judicial officers that have been at the center of this therapeutic court movement, which has dramatically improved our society. I'm confident that Judge Dana Gutierrez is up to the job. Her vast experience in employment law as a subject matter expert in workplace discrimination matters, equal employment opportunity, human resources, and sexual harassment is a good addition to the court. And her many years of experience working as a public servant at the University of Guam and here at the judiciary is a testament to her commitment to the people of Guam. Her long-standing civic and community involvement on the lobbying committee, I don't think we can ever put that in the way, Judge. The Guam Law Library Board of Trustees and the Guam Bar Association, the Society for Human Resources Management, and the Solid Waste Management Authority Board is further evidence of this commitment to our island. To quote Socrates, 4 things belong to a judge: to hear courteously, to answer wisely, to consider soberly, and to decide impartially. Whatever your brand of justice ends up being, Dana, only you and time will tell. I trust that these qualities of which Socrates spoke will be woven into every aspect of your judicial brand. But I would like to offer a few more suggestions for you to consider as you carve out your niche. Remember to be patient even when it is most challenging. Stay open-minded to the facts and evidence that is presented to you. Treat all people with dignity and respect. Deploy your tact when managing your courtroom. Be courageous when determining judgment. Strive for clarity in all your decisions and orders, especially the Supreme Court likes to reverse it. Be punctual when managing your time and docket. Ensure fairness at all times. Have compassion and humility always, and practice common sense. These will serve you well and will garner the respect and appreciation of all those you encounter, be they attorneys, litigants, defendants, juveniles, your fellow judges, and court staff. I know that you are up to the job. And on the final note, I do want to recognize the staff and management of the Judiciary Forum. I often tell the governor that the staff of the court are some of the best public servants I have had the privilege to work alongside. Everyone knows that without these employees of the Judiciary Forum, our judicial officers would not have the opportunity to discharge justice in an efficient manner. And on behalf of our people, I sincerely want to thank the court employees for your dedication to our island. And Dana, congratulations. I'm very proud of you, and I think you're going to be an excellent addition to this esteemed group of judicial officers. Congratulations.
The Honorable F. Philip Carbolino will now administer the oath. I ask Judge-Select Gutierrez to join Chief Justice Carbolino, and also ask her husband, David Hirchanek, who will hold the Bible, to join her.
So, Dan, if you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear,
I do solemnly swear,
in the presence of Almighty God,
in the presence of Almighty God,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the laws of the United States applicable to Guam,
the laws of the United States applicable to Guam,
and the laws of Guam,
and the laws of Guam,
and that I will conscientiously and impartially
and that I will conscientiously and impartially
discharge my duties as judge of the Superior Court of Guam.
as judge of the Superior Court of Guam.
And we'll do this.
David will now bring her parents, after she takes an official photo of her husband. David, you can pass the Bible back to the table, and she will read her parents. You may be seated. Mr. Roland T. Gutierrez Jr. will now present the gavel to his sister. I invite Ms. Hannah M. Gutierrez and Sanj A. Gutierrez to come forward for the donning of the robe to their sister. The notorious DHE. Mr. J.T. Gutierrez, her eldest brother, will present his sister with the lace. Ladies and gentlemen, all rise for the Honorable Dana A. Gutierrez. Please be seated. Judge Gutierrez will now deliver her judicial address.
Happy day, everyone.
Happy day.
So happy day to those of you joining me in person and those of you who are watching live on the Judiciary of Guam's YouTube channel. I appreciate everyone taking the time to celebrate with me today. I'd like to talk about my initial experience to the legal system. Now, my initial experience in the legal system was not as a high school mock trial teammate or as a law student, but rather when I worked as an after-school runner my last semester of high school for attorney Tim Stewart. Attorney Stewart's office was located in Hagana, where the Padre Pio gift shop is now, across from the Caliente restaurant. As a student of the Academy of Our Lady of Guam, I would get out of school at 3:15, and I would make my way over to his law firm and work for him for about an hour and a half each day. Now, I may be dating myself, but my first day of work, I was given a typing and dictation test. I don't know if you guys remember that. Not many people even know how to remember we used to take typing. But despite taking a semester of typing at the Academy of Our Lady of Guam, I failed that test miserably. But perhaps it was a blessing for me, because it really allowed me to do some other things at the firm. It allowed me to be the receptionist. It allowed me to do some research. But it also allowed me to do something that I really, really enjoyed. And that was being able to go and file and serve documents for him. And it allowed me to do what I enjoyed best, which was socializing. So when I was out of the office, right, I was going out and doing my runs. It would allow me to visit other law firms. It would allow me to visit the Superior Court Annex building that some of you may recall. We used to have some of our hearings over there across the street. And it also allowed me to visit the historic courthouse, which is right next door. Now, I would often do my runs in my academy school uniform. And I recall being stopped by a marshal as I entered the historic courthouse. And he said to me, "Hey, baby, are you looking for your mom and dad?" And I'll never forget the look of confusion on his face when I said, "No, I'm here to serve some legal documents." And he was really, really nice. You know, I was a new runner, I didn't know what I was doing. But after I explained to him that I worked for Attorney Stewart, he did escort me to the clerk's office, and he helped me to file the documents. So though I worked for Attorney Stewart for just a very short time, I was always grateful that Attorney Stewart hired me to work at his law firm, and for the time he and his staff spent training me. Years later, while working at the law firm of Merrimer, Spain and Thompson, I had the opportunity to actually do some legal work for Attorney Stewart and his wife, and also to thank him for giving a high school student the chance to observe what attorneys do and how law firms operate. As I advanced in my career, I continue to be blessed with the kindness and mentorship of other attorneys. I feel privileged that I've had the opportunity to work with excellent attorneys at the law firms of Carl Smith Ball, Merrimer, Spade and Thompson, the Judiciary of Guam, and most recently, Calvo, Fisher, and Jacob. In fact, my Calvo, Fisher, and Jacob family, I think, are up there on the second floor. I'd like to thank them for all that they've done for me recently. At each place, the attorneys took the time to review my work, offer constructive criticism, and provided the training needed to improve my legal skills. As a recipient of such mentorship, I, in turn, have made myself available to train and mentor others. This is perhaps best reflected in my labor and employment practice and my involvement with the Society for Human Resource Management Guam chapter, or SURE. I would often field calls from other attorneys and non-attorneys who would ask me for assistance with labor and employment advice. Additionally, through SURE, I frequently presented on current labor and employment topics and provided personnel management training. As I transition into my new role, I will continue to support opportunities to mentor our next generation of attorneys, as well as our judiciary employees. I encourage my fellow attorneys in the Guam Bar to be open to mentoring others. I also encourage attorneys to seek guidance from others. In 2016, while working at the judiciary, I contemplated a return to private practice. Before making my decision, I reached out to an attorney I admired but did not know very well, and asked if she would have lunch with me. That attorney graciously accepted my lunch request and took the time to meet with me. Although we discussed the practice of law, we also shared our personal experiences as attorneys. Our discussions provided me with valuable information, and I considered and eventually returned to private practice. I'd like to thank attorney Anita Ariola for taking the time to meet with an attorney you barely knew and offering her some much needed guidance. The spirit of generosity continues as I take the bench. I want to thank all of the justices, the judges, and court personnel who have reached out to me and have provided me words of encouragement and offers of assistance. I look forward to working with each of you, and I gladly accept your offers to assist me. Before I close, I would be remiss not to thank the people who have supported me, not only in my career, but in my life. I want to take this opportunity to thank my very first mentors, my mom and dad, Roland and Annie Gutierrez. I know I'm supposed to be impartial, but I can confidently say that you are the very best parents in the world. You have loved me unconditionally, and I thank you for all that you have sacrificed for me and my brothers and sisters. I would not be standing here, Mom and Dad, without your support. Thank you. To my husband, David Urchanek, thank you for accepting me as I am and for agreeing to let me keep my last name. Thank you also for supporting my obsession with USC football. To my brothers and sisters, Jay, Roland Jr., Hannah, and Sam, especially my sister Sam, who came here and did my room for me. Thank you, Sam. My Gutierrez, Crisostomo, and her Chanik families, and my friends who are really, really family to me, and you know who you are. Yay! Thank you for your unwavering love and support. Finally, to all of you here, I promise to continue to work hard and to always do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Please remain standing for the benediction by Father Mike Chrysostom.
Blessing from our Holy Father, Pope Francis. Let us bow our heads in prayer. Let the risen Jesus enter into your life. Welcome him as a friend. With trust, he is light, And if up to now you have kept him at a distance, step forward. He will receive you with open arms. If you have been indifferent, take a risk. You won't be disappointed. If following him seems difficult, don't be afraid. Trust him. Be confident that he is close to you, that he is with you, and that he will give you the peace you are looking for and the strength to live as you would have you do. And may the blessings of Almighty God be with you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our investiture ceremony this afternoon. To Dios mercy and thank you for your presence today. God bless and stay safe. I ask that you remain in your seats and wait for instructions to exit. Thank you again for joining us.